Hello, I'm Geekman and welcome to the Physics channel. Now, you might be wondering what I'm doing here. It's Monday. I should be here on Fridays, some of them. Well, both I and Dan the Astronomy Man have had a bit of a rejig of when and where we do our videos. Rather than him doing his videos on the last Friday of the month, he's doing on the last Monday. And instead of me doing my videos on the first Friday of the month, I'm doing them on the first Monday. This means that we have a weekend before our videos, so that we don't have to do them at some point during the week when we have other things to do. Now that that's been said, I've also got to clarify about the superhero I'm doing. Some of you might be thinking, he's not a superhero, he doesn't really have any powers. But he has spent thousands of years saving planets from evil monsters and supervillains. He has crossed many different universes, and he's died and come back several times. He even has a time machine. That sounds like a superhero to me. So, I'm Geekman, and today I'm going to be analysing the superpowers of the Doctor. The Doctor, for those of you who don't know, is a fictional character from the BBC television programme Doctor Who. He's an alien, a Time Lord from the planet Gallifrey in the constellation of Cerberus. I'm a bit of a fan of the show, which is how I know that, off the top of my head. He has lived for thousands of years. In fact, we're not even sure how old he is anymore because he's kept recounting so many times. However, it's safe to say that he's at least 2,000 years old, as that's how old his current incarnation claims to be. Yes, I said incarnation. He has had multiple faces. No, it's not plastic surgery gone wrong. It is in fact one of his superpowers, regeneration. The Doctor has two main superpowers, agelessness and regeneration. To clarify, he has a number of faces he can go through. When he changes a face, this is called regeneration. However, he has each face, each body, for far longer than the average human lifespan, and thus he has a decreased aging in each incarnation, in each body. Now, obviously, in the real world, this was quite a clever way to allow the character to continue living in the now 53 years old television programme without having to be the same actor the whole way through. The current man who plays the Doctor, Peter Capaldi, has of course said he's stepping down from the role now. But, including John Hurt, RIP, 13 men have now played the Doctor. He has had 13 faces. In the order according to the programme that the faces he's had, they're William Hartnell, Patrick Troughton, John Pertwee, Tom Baker, Peter Davison, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, Paul McGann, John Hurt, Christopher Eccleston, David Tennant, Matt Smith, and Peter Capaldi. If you're watching this in the future, there will likely be more names at the end of that list. Anyway, getting to analysing his powers. First of all, agelessness. Each face the Doctor's had has lasted him anywhere from a few decades to nearly thousands of years. For example, the incarnation of the Doctor that looks suspiciously like Matt Smith lasted from the age of about 907 to almost 2,000, according to him. If we assume those numbers aren't wrong, but he was still alive for that 1100 years, that means that face appeared to age maybe 60 years, according to a human lifespan, over more than 1,000. Clearly, he doesn't age as rapidly as we puny humans do, and a very good way of explaining that could be to do with the telomeres. Telomeres are segments of your DNA at the end of your chromosomes. Every time a cell duplicates, those telomeres are shortened slightly, and once the telomeres have reached their end, the cell then has to die. Beings with longer telomeres will be able to copy their cells more times. Therefore, their cells wouldn't age or decay as rapidly, so they'd still retain youthful looks and young cells from their early lives for far longer than we do. As a result, things like organ failure and the wearing away of joints would take much longer to happen. The skin would remain elastic and youthful for far longer than the 50 to 60 years it remains that way on a human. This could explain why his face doesn't begin to crinkle or wrinkle until he has looked like Matt Smith for more than 600 years. It could also explain why it takes so much longer for his hair to grey. Of course, some doctors, some faces of the Doctor, have always had grey hair or been wrinkly. This could be to do with regeneration, which is quite an interesting process I'm going to analyse in a moment, but it's possible that new cells that are born from a regeneration could already be damaged or have shortened telomeres, meaning that that incarnation of the Doctor can't last as long as other ones, as his body is already decaying slowly.